This is episode 640. Today we're going to be looking at 6 tips to eliminating limiting beliefs. Do you have some beliefs that might be holding you back? Well, you may not be able to recognize that they're holding you back. You may have beliefs and think that they are true. Some universal ones is I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not educated, I'm too educated. All of those are limiting beliefs that can hold us back from achieving things. I don't have time. That's another limiting belief. And what we can take a look at really our limiting beliefs show up in our life as to what we want but don't have. One of the biggest questions I ask my clients is when they come to me and we build some rapport after a few sessions. I go, what do you want? What do you want out of work? What do you want out of life? And we go through a list. I go, why don't you have them? And then there comes the excuses or reasons. 90% of the time, those reasons and or excuses are based in a limiting belief. So then we can start to dissect and go deeper as to where that belief is coming from, and then we can neutralize it, extract it, demolish it, do something with it. But we often don't know that we have these limiting beliefs because we just accept our lot in life. Like, well, this is just the way it is. I'm too old to get a new job. I'm too young to be a VP. All those things. And so we don't even try. We don't even put forth the effort and ask, what would it take for me to XYZ? So in this podcast, I'm going to go over, there are many ways. I mean, limiting beliefs can be superficial and they're really easy to get rid of. Other ones can be so ingrained because it's based on our culture. It's based on how we were brought up when we were young. And that's a whole different area on how we adapt limiting beliefs, how we're programmed into it. But when you realize you have some limiting beliefs, and a lot of them can be found by giving excuses for what you want but don't have. And when you can start taking that and start to dissect it and using some of the tips I'm about to go over, you can slowly loosen up that limiting belief and then embrace a more empowering belief so that your actions will align with what you want. So first ask yourself, if you say, this is, I'm too young, I'm too old, whatever it is, ask yourself if this belief is really true. And when I say, is it really true for every single person in the world? Is somebody who is 22 years old, are they not capable of being a VP? Well, that's probably not true because I'm sure you could do a search for youngest VP in a corporate 1000 company and find that. So we want to ask ourselves, is this belief really, 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 really true? And then when we really come down to it and going, probably not. It feels like it is, but probably not. We then want to determine the source of the belief. Is this something that's been programmed into us by our parents, by our teachers, by our uh, peers? Where did this source come from? Because it's almost like having these weeds in a garden, and we can identify the weeds from the flowers, but now we want to go, where's the source of these weeds? And we want to dig down and look at where that source is coming from. And then when you know that, you want to declare and basically do some mental rehearsal is, I don't believe this anymore. It's not true. And I would add on to this now is that what do you want to believe? So if you don't want to believe that you're too young or too old, what do you want to believe? I believe I'm the perfect age for doing whatever I want to accomplish. And this takes the form of affirmations. It can take the form of writing a vision statement for who you want to become. It can take on many forms, but again, these steps are easy. They're simple, but they're not easy because we need to really start to foster the discipline on creating the mindset to eliminate these beliefs. Then imagine being free from the belief. How would your life change? This mental rehearsal can be one of the biggest shifts in it. Basically, who would you be without this thought? Byron Katie has a program or a process called The Works, and one of her questions is, who would you be without this thought? And so imagine, what would you do without that thought? Imagine maybe waking up and you have limited amnesia, and that limited amnesia takes away the few limiting beliefs that you want to get rid of, and you don't have them. You just don't have them. You know who you are, where you're working, wherever, all of that, but that limiting belief is gone, is completely gone. How would that change your life? How would you take action? And I would ask you to write down in a Word document or on a journaling at night is, who would I be without this thought? I would be confident. I would be determined. I would have mental strength. And then what actions would I take now that I don't believe this thought or I don't even have this thought? And write down the actions. So who would you be? Write the characteristics of yourself. And then how would you use those characteristics moving forward? What actions would you take? And make that a massively long list. And this would be a great opportunity at night to do this journaling. So, imagine that, who would you be without this thought? You wake up with amnesia. There's another um, process called the miracle question. The one limiting belief that's holding you back, you go to sleep, it's gone. What's the first thing that you would notice that now this belief is gone? So there's a lot of ways to put yourself into a more positive mind shift uh, with this elimination of the belief. And that's what we want to do. We want to shift our mind that, okay, this belief is here. It's part of my life, to, no, it's not here. And when that's gone, who would you be? How would you act? How would you think? That's where we want to get to. And then you replace that belief. So the belief is gone. And then you want to go, okay, what belief do I want to have instead? Right? Instead, we talked about, instead of saying I'm too old or I'm too young or I'm the perfect age. I'm too big, I'm too small, I'm the perfect height. I don't have a degree. I have the perfect intelligence for this, what I'm going to do. Whatever that is you want to take that limiting belief, remove it, and then replace it with something that is 180 degrees counter to it. And this may take some time because a lot of us have been so programmed to acknowledge our excuses and our reasons that we say we want to have empowering belief as, oh, I don't believe I'm too young. Well, we're still believing we're too young, so we want to say the opposite in a positive manner. And that can take some time. And working with a coach, especially me, can help you phrase um, those new beliefs more effectively. You know, then once you start to just slightly embrace it, then you find evidence of the new belief is valid, and it doesn't have to be in you, because what one can do, all can do. And if you're looking for, oh, I can't lose a pound a week, go look famous people who've lost a pound a week and find them. Find evidence that your belief is false, and that your new belief is valid. So when you have a limiting belief, you want to find evidence to prove yourself wrong. When you have an empowering belief, you want to find evidence that your belief is correct. And and when I say wrong and correct, for you, for your life, not that we want to judge or compare ourselves to others. We want to go, hey, is it possible to lose a pound a week? Yes, it is. Okay, well, then I'm going to embrace that. So we want to find that evidence, both that our current belief is incorrect, and we want to find evidence that our new belief is correct. And then observe your new feelings, behavior, and results, right? When we have this new belief, we go, well, I'll give it a try. No, don't use the word try. I'm not going to pull the Yoda quote here, but I'm going to have fun with it. So instead of saying I'm going to give it a try, I'm going to have fun with this. And when we have fun with something, we usually just play around and goof around and experiment, and hey, there comes the result. When we try something, we often move with an air of hesitancy, and we stop ourselves short from achieving the result we want. But if we have fun with something, we keep going and we kind of release attachment to the end result, but we have fun in the process. And that fun can be happiness, joy, so your feelings, your behaviors, and results. So when you start to shift from a limiting belief to, or a disempowering belief to an empowering belief, we want to notice how we feel about it. We want to notice our behavior differently and results, because noticing us taking action on the empowering behavior will help it solidify and then move away from the other one. Just keep in mind that limiting beliefs are tricky because they can be embedded in cultural aspects, our parents and if our school teachers, and if we think contrary to that, there's this resistance in us that, well, maybe our parents are wrong, maybe my culture is wrong, maybe my religion is wrong, maybe this is wrong, and we don't want to accept that. So limiting beliefs are tricky, and this is why it's really, really important to work with a professional coach. Again, like myself or someone else out there. But ask yourself two questions: what do you want? Why don't you have it? And that would be the biggest two questions to start to uncover your limiting beliefs, and follow those clues to discover your limiting beliefs. If you like the podcast and want to see the show notes on it, please visit warriormindcoach.com for more information. You can also find other blog posts and podcasts over there, and a way to request a breakthrough session. Since you'll be on the internet, please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest under Warrior Mind Coach.